Do you Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending upon where you are in the world. I am Ilene Gottlieb, the heart healer, and it is my pleasure to be one of the presenters here at the Wellness and Lifestyle Conference, hosted by Priscilla Gendron out of Durban, South Africa. It is such a joy to participate in this. Thank you, Priscilla, for creating this wonderful event. And today we're going to be talking about essential oils. Not a subject that I generally talk about that much these days, but you know what? They're part of my everyday life. I can't imagine my life without them. I've been using essential oils for over 20 years. And during COVID last year, I was staying with my sister and brother-in-law before vaccination time and having that, at least that was my pod, and they're very essential oil sensitive. And so I couldn't bring my oils with me. Well, I could have them with me and use them outside, but not on me. Right. And when you're used to a tool that energetically really helps you to hold a space of balance with yourself and you can't have them, it feels very different and very odd. So I'm really grateful for all that they've brought to my life. It's been a wonderful journey. I took my first class, I think it was like in 1995 or 1996, and was surprised to know that the oils that I was using, that I put on that little, ring that we put on top of a lamp, a light bulb, right back in those days, that's how we used aromatherapy, that was not the best thing to do when you're working with therapeutic essential oils. And I learned that therapeutic essential oils are exactly that. They have benefits that are wonderful for us in terms of that holistic model. They benefit us physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And so it is my joy to share today some information that I hope will give you some basics. We're going to talk about creating non-toxic lifestyles, both for your home and your home office or your brick and mortar office, for those of you that still have that as part of your lifestyle choices. They're good for adults, they're good for children, they're good for our pets, and there are cautionaries with all of them. So it's good to be educated and have good resources that you can refer to. And I will talk about some of them as we go through this. Before we begin with our PowerPoint, I would love to know, with a raise of hands, who is familiar with essential oils and has worked with them? Can we raise our hands? Yeah? So pretty much all of us. Yeah, very good. All right. And so I know Nancy is. And so I'm hoping that this adds a little bit more information for you and that it enhances your life in some way as much as it has enhanced mine. All right, I am going, can you give me permission to share my screen, please? Can I do that? Yeah, you need to be able to.
Yeah, I'm trying to start. Here we go.
If you look at my name, you should be able to. Yeah.
That should allow you now, Ilene.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with all of you. Oops, give me a sec. Excellent. All right. Hopefully. Okay. Very good. All right. So remember to raise your hand and Stefan will let me know if someone has a question. I can stop and start, so just let me know whenever that comes up for you. So welcome to Non-Toxic Living at Home and at Work, holistic approaches that create a healthy lifestyle and living space with essential oils. The information in this presentation is not intended to diagnose or treat, nor is it a replacement for your chosen path of medical care. Making choices about one's health care is a very personal process. Making conscious choices, that's the greatest gift we give ourselves. Okay, so during our time together, we're going to share a little bit about the ABCs of essential oils, We'll learn about some of the therapeutic uses of essential oils, how we can use them to create that non-toxic home or office. And we're going to review very quickly 12 different essential oils. Some of them are single oils, some of them are blends. Answer any questions you might have if I'm able to, and choose who will receive my special gift. All right. So here we go, an introduction to essential oils. All right, what are essential oils? They're man's first medicine, and they are the lifeblood of plants. If you can imagine that just like our blood courses through our bodies, essential oils flow like the lifeblood of a plant. And what they do for a plant, they offer to us in therapeutic benefit, because when we breathe in or apply topically an essential oil, why it's so important to choose wisely the company that you work with, to vet that they're not adulterated, right? They will, within minutes, find their most compatible environment, which is our bloodstream. And as they enter into the bloodstream, they are circulated throughout our body. So we get a benefit very quickly. So what they do for plants, they cleanse, they oxygenate, they protect, they nourish, and they heal. So if a plant has an issue where perhaps a stem, or think of a cactus and a piece of the cactus breaks off, the lifeblood of that cactus is going to go and travel to that area to protect it and create whatever is needed to create like a patch. Just like we create a scab on our body. You know, it's amazing when we think about how magical our bodies are, that they do so much without us even thinking about it, right? Yeah. And so essential oils are innately knowing of how to do what they know how to do because of what they do for our plants. Essential oils they come from many different types of plants in the plant kingdom, and from different parts of those plants. So here are some examples. They're from shrubs, they're from flowers, like thyme comes from a shrub, lavender comes from the flower of a plant, frankincense comes from a tree, ginger from the root. A bush is a rose, but the essence comes from the petals of the flower, cumin from the seeds, geranium from the leaves, and lemons and limes, they're cold pressed from the rind, not from the pulp of the fruit. So they come from all different parts of the plants. So let's talk a little bit about the history of essential oils. We have records dating back to 2800 BC with the ancient Egyptians, records in the pyramids and the temples in Egypt, noting that essential oils were used, very crude, ancient distilleries used to glean the essential oils from the various plants. In those days, the priests and priestesses were pretty much the caregivers of the essential oils. They dispensed it. They taught people how to use it. The essential oils were used in the ancient Egyptians' art of embalming. And believe it or not, when King Tut's tomb was opened, and we know that the tombs of the kings in the ancient Egyptian era, whatever was put in there was to enhance the next journey for that individual spirit. And whatever was put in there was chosen wisely. It was important. They found alabaster jars with residue of essential oils in them when they opened up King Tut's tomb. So that's how valued they were in that time. And there is a belief that the gifts to the Christ child were essential oils, frankincense, myrrh, and you know how they say gold is one of the gifts? Sandalwood was the essential oil.
Sandalwood.
In more current time, Maurice Renee Gatefosse in the early 1900s was a French cosmetic chemist. He is credited for coining the term aromatherapy. And there is a wonderful story that he shared, not wonderful how it happened, but how lavender was found to have healing qualities. And there was an explosion in his lab, and he had burns, extensive burns, 3rd-degree burns on his arm or arms. And they immediately started to blister and were starting to get gangrenous very quickly. And what he did was he immediately put his arm in the vat of lavender that he was working on studying as a chemist, and it managed to heal his arms without signs of scarring. It was so miraculous to him. And so I always keep a bottle of lavender in my kitchen because of this story that I heard.
Yeah.
We move a little bit forward in the 20th century, 1939 to 1945, during World War II, they actually used essential oils to treat gangrene on the battlefield, because there wasn't much else that they could do that was able to, hold on a second, there wasn't much that they could do to support the wounds that the soldiers were experiencing, and infections were rampant in those days because we didn't have antibiotics yet. And so in that time of World War II, it's considered the time of the restoration of aromatherapy in more modern times. And then, because I'm a Young Living lover, I love these products. I love our essential oils and the quality of them. I'm going to share a little bit about Gary Young, who founded Young Living Essential Oils. In 1973, being a man's man, a man of the earth, he was in a crippling logging accident that had him wheelchair bound. And he was so depressed. He attempted suicide 3 times, unsuccessfully, thank goddess. And after the 3rd time, he got the message. He's supposed to be here, so he better figure out what it is, right? And so what he ended up doing was he was seeking ways to heal from that holistic perspective. And he studied naturopathy, and he studied homeopathy, and he healed. And he went from the wheelchair to crutches to walking to running a half marathon, right? But he was still having pain. So he was seeking something holistic that would support that. And he found essential oils. And in his journeys, there are so many wonderful stories that we don't have time to share here today. But in his travels around the world, in his travels to the Middle East, to Egypt, to France, where he helped to, I love this story. France is known for their lavender fields, right? And at the time that Gary Young was learning about essential oils, there were friends in France that gifted him with lavender plants that he smuggled into the United States to start his lavender farms. And years ago, when the lavender farms in France were having troubles, Gary Young returned the favor. I love that story because there's such a lovely symmetry and loving balance that not only do essential oils offer us on so many levels, but they foster that in terms of community, right? It's just so wonderful. So in 1992, he opened up an organic herb farm and a distillery and founded Young Living Essential Oils very soon after that. So that's my little story about Young Living. Unfortunately, most of the world's essential oils are adulterated. What that means is they're tainted. There are chemicals in them that are not therapeutic to human beings or any other beings. And that's very sad, but it's largely because we don't have any standards in this country that are mandated for an essential oil company to follow. And so how they can get adulterated or tainted is you can have toxins in the soil. It can be from the quality of the seeds. The growers can use pesticides in the growing process. The water source can have toxins in them, or it can happen during the distillation process, which is the process that's used to glean the essential oil from the part of the plant that it is being taken from. And so it's good to know where you can get essential oils if they speak to you that will not add a toxin load to your body, right? In the United States, our Food and Drug Administration is not able to govern plants because they're not pharmaceuticals, but they do govern the labeling and how we are able to language or share about essential oils. So where I would love to talk to you about therapeutic benefits on a medicinal level, I'm unable to do that. I can do that privately with you. However, because I am a nurse and I know these things, right? Okay. So in Europe, Young Living follows European standards. European standards, there are two organizations that regulate essential oils in Europe. One is AFNOR, which is the Association French Normalization Organization Regulation, and the ISO, which is International Standards Organization, which sets the standards for oils adopted from AFNOR. We follow in Young Living these standards. And so every batch of oil that is distilled is tested with gas chromatography, which leads us in, offers us information about the chemistry of each essential oil. And so in that chemistry information, if there is something toxic in it, adulterated, something that doesn't belong there, it's in there, black and white. So if something is adulterated, we don't use it, either as a single oil, in a blend, or in any of the essential oil infused products that we use. Now, some people want to understand a little bit about the pricing for essential oils, and I find this to be very interesting. Hope you will too, right? For something like an essential oil like orange or lime, these are, as I mentioned earlier, they're cold pressed from the rind of each fruit. And then that's distilled down. Well, those fruits are very plentiful. And so the price for that could be anywhere from like $10 to $15 for 15 milliliters, which is a bottle like this size. It holds like 250 to 300 drops per bottle. And so that's a lot. And it's a very little price. But something like rose oil, it takes 5,000 pounds of rose petals to make a pound of oil. So a small bottle, a 5 milliliter bottle, this is not my rose oil, but this is a 5 milliliter bottle, holds 80 to 100 drops, and that'll be close to $200 because it takes so much product in order to create. I mean, think of a rose petal. I was looking at my roses, think of a rose petal. There's not much to it. So imagine 5,000 pounds. That's 5 tons of rose petals. Imagine how good that must smell. I love it. All right. So for those of you that know me, my company is Vibrational Healing from the Heart Incorporated. I love all things energy, right? I think of everything as energy. And so everything has frequencies, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, everything has an energy frequency. And essential oils are no different. So the average body frequency, to offer you some perspective, is 62 to 68 hertz. Who are my coffee drinkers? I can see some of you. Raise your hand if you're a coffee drinker. Yeah, I am. Well, imagine you drink that cup of coffee in the morning, your energy frequency overall drops to 52. Now, notice down there on the bottom, viruses live at 52 hertz in the body. And it'll take 3 days for your frequencies to return to normal. And that's if you don't have any more coffee. But who drinks it every day? Hello, right? I'm bad, but you see, all I need to do is breathe a little essential oil and my frequency goes back up, which I invite you to do the same so that you can have those benefits as well. And it takes only 21 seconds for your frequency to go back up again when you expose your overall energy frequency that your body is one layer of to something that drops its frequency. And there's so many things that do that, but that's for another conversation. All right. So disease begins at 58 hertz. the flu at 57, candida, which is yeast, 55, Epstein-Barr virus, which is given credit for a lot of diseases like chronic fatigue, vitiligo, so many other things, and cancers at 42. So if you use essential oils, if you have them diffusing in your house, you're breathing them in, you are encouraging and supporting your overall energy frequency to maintain itself, be a little bit higher. All right, so some uses for essential oils. All therapeutic grade essential oils have some frequency balancing benefit and some germ fighting ability. Think of them as the lifeblood of the plant and all that they do in the plant. To some degree, they do that for our bodies. Okay. They also promote balance of our body systems. An example would be our immune system. Clean and enhance the environment. I use essential oil infused cleaning supplies. I use diffusers to enhance the aromas in my house. This is one type of diffuser. It's called a USB orb diffuser. It's great for traveling. It's sealed, it turns, right? And it has two settings. It has a little LED light. Can you see that mist coming out? Yeah, so it has two settings, an intermittent one and a continuous one. And you can plug it in. Mine is currently plugged into my USB port in my computer. And so I get to smell these yummy smells while I'm talking to you, right? And I travel with these. I've gone on cruises with that particular diffuser because if it topples over, it doesn't leak any liquid. It turns off when the water inside is absorbed or has been used and completely used up. And it turns off when it tilts over on its side. So it's just so fabulous. And you don't travel with it full. You can empty it out and then use tap water wherever you are. Okay. It helps to balance our mental and emotional state of being. And you can use it to replace so many different toxic products like air fresheners in your home or in your home office or in your brick and mortar business. Okay, so Dr. Kurt Schnellbelt in '99 in the book Medical Aromatherapy is quoted to say essential oils have a 94% success potential against infection. So remember, all of them have to some degree an ability to raise our frequencies and to fight off germs of some kind. Okay, and there's different schools of application. In Europe, remember, aromatherapy was there before here in the more current modern age. In France, believe it or not, from the 60s to the 90s, all aromatic prescriptions were sold at pharmacies, and they were reimbursable by the government health system. The primary route for utilizing essential oils in France was orally. So the doctor would prescribe a specific essential oil or a complement of essential oils, and they would be taken like on a sugar cube. And you would go to the pharmacy to get your essential oils. Wouldn't that be wonderful if they had something like that here? Oh my goddess. So we have to create our own, which is exactly what I do. And there's so many resources available that help us to educate ourselves so that we can empower ourselves to utilize these beautiful gifts of nature to support us in that holistic model, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. In England, the primary route is topical with massage. And in Germany, the primary route is by inhalation or with diffusers, or just even leaving a bottle open or putting some drops of oil in a pot of water on the stove and in warm water and allowing it to come up that way. Yes, it does heat it, but it's one way to create a diffusion. In the United States, because we're babies compared to our other countries that we're talking about, we use all three. All right. And of course, other countries use all three, but in the time of its evolution, this was where each country kind of made their preference for route of use known. Okay, so how can we use them to create that non-toxic home and office? We can use them in the bath or using them for self-care in our activities of daily living in self-care. Like I make a bath oil blend with frankincense, myrrh, and patchouli. And the numbers of drops is very specifically formulated based on Fibonacci's code. And I've done this for years. If I can't do this every day, I feel like something's missing, you know, and I blend it with organic olive oil, you know, the cold pressed olive oil, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I make small batches at a time because you only need a little bit, and I put it on the body while I'm still wet before I step out of the shower because I'm not a bath person. Diffusing. There are endless oils that are able to be diffused that will promote different ways of feeling, because essential oils stimulate the limbic center of the brain, which is our feeling center. And so we have so many amazing ways that we can support ourselves to promote emotional balance, quietness of thought, focus, so many other things that the list is very long, right? Promoting stress reduction, not just for ourselves, like before we go to sleep at night, we can create a space. And we're going to talk about which oils I love to use this for, to support that, creating that relaxation and sleep space. But I also always use essential oils when I do a presentation. If you were with me, I would have a diffuser going with probably a citrus oil or a conifer oil, you know, those wonderful grounding trees, because most people don't have a problem with those oils. Lavender would not be my first choice because some people really don't like lavender. And there you've made it impossible for them to feel comfortable in your space, right? So that one I reserve for only when I'm me and myself, and what is it? Me, myself, and I alone in my house, right? Okay, great for enhancing our adaptability to life situations. And lavender is one of those that helps with that. And think about it. If you're using a diffuser with an essential oil that helps you to be calm, can you imagine if you have a home office that people come to, or a brick and mortar business, that you could use essential oils on a diffuser? Less is more. You don't have to have it really, really strong aroma. Less is always more. That's the rule that I want you to take away with you here as far as essential oils are concerned. When it comes to them, more is not better. It's a waste because they're volatile. They evaporate very quickly. So frequent use, like having a diffuser that gives you maybe a puff every minute or several seconds every minute, gives you a consistent energy of the frequency of that essential oil that you can smell, and you actually won't even notice the smell of it after a while. So to find out how it feels in the room, sometimes as you get started with it, you put just a couple of drops in your diffuser, you walk out of the room, turn it on, walk out of the room, and then walk back into the room, because then you'll be able to really tell how it feels and how strong the aroma is. So cooking odors, I don't love the smell of cooking odors in my house. And my fan, although it's very strong, for some reason does not take it out the house, right? And so after I'm finished cooking, I will always run my diffusers with the oils that I like the smell of. And within a few hours, those smells are no longer an annoyance. Like fish, I should grill outside. It would be a lot smarter, but too lazy. Anyway, and then the other thing is, for anyone that's experienced burning a pot, like eggs, you know, that smell of burnt eggs, sulfur. Oh, is that nasty or what? Right? There's a wonderful blend called Purification that will get that smell and neutralize it so quickly. It's amazing. And I have a very dear friend who did that, and the alarm in the house was triggered. She was asleep. And I mean, her clothes smelled everything. She systematically used diffusion with purification oil in the different rooms and was able to release that smell. I was so happy to hear that for her. Okay, so where else? Underarm deodorant, geranium and liquid crystal is my choice. I've used it for years. I put lavender in my laundry with my laundry detergent. I use Thieves oil to enhance my immune system when I used to travel. God only knows I haven't done that in a long time. You can use them as insect repellents. That purification oil is good for that as well. To alkalinize your water, you want to use citrus like lemon or lime. It helps to soothe irritated skin. Lavender is known for that, and promotes emotional balance and enhances sexuality, especially when the diminished libido or the impotence is due to an emotional or mental reason, a trauma that way. So let's talk about a little bit about these essential oils. We're going to go through this really quickly because there are 12 of them. All right. This is the best grouping of oils. That's all I can tell you. Frankincense, one of my favorites, right? Remember, this is considered one of the oils that was a gift to the Christ child. It's considered a holy anointing oil in the Middle East. With each of these, I'm going to give you the plant name, which is Boswellia carteri, and I spelled that wrong. Hello, I will correct that. Anyway, it is a resin. It's found from, you pull back the bark of the tree, and they do this with great consciousness because these trees are ancient. And so they very systematically, so that the bark can grow back, they will work to pull back the bark. The resin is pulled, or the gum from the tree is removed. And so it's not really a true essential oil. It's more distilled from the gum or resin behind the bark. Frankincense is great for meditation. It helps us connect with source. I have it with me all the time. I use sacred frankincense. That's my favorite. Those are the two frankincense oils that Young Living has. And sacred frankincense is actually, from a biblical perspective, is considered to be the tree that is the father, or what's the best way to call this? It is the trees that live now in the Middle East that I believe are from Yemen, that are sacred frankincense, where sacred frankincense comes from, are the trees that the sacred frankincense that was shared with the Christ child as a gift, where it comes from. And Gary Young was the first person outside of that country that was given permission to take the resin and distill it and sell it in the United States. We feel so blessed to be, I don't know if we're still the only country or the only company that has access to this sacred frankincense. Okay, so it's great for visualizing, improving one's spiritual connection, centering. I love it for when I am working with clients, when I am creating, because I love to create from that place of connection to source. And it's also a valuable ingredient in skincare products for the aging and dry skin benefits that it offers. And the ancient Egyptians used it in rejuvenating face masks. Wouldn't it have been interesting to live during that time, right? All right, applications, options, and uses. So you can use it with prayer time, with yoga, with meditation, to enhance that deep spiritual connection. It's helpful for men with impotence due to unresolved emotional issues, and you would diffuse it and apply it to the bottom of the feet or the heart. Don't know that you would apply it directly on any perineal parts of the body. Topically, you can apply it to the face and neck to repair sun damage, renew the skin, minimize production and skin breakouts. You can massage it on the temples or the back of the neck to relieve stress. I rarely diffuse frankincense because it's very expensive. It's dear, shall we say. It's worth every penny. So I tend to leave the bottle open and just simply let it waft into my space. And you can also take it internally. Not all essential oils can be taken internally. So you want to have a good reference. I like the Essential Oils Desk Reference, which is published by Life Science Publishing. discoverlsp.com is their website. That's a wonderful resource, I find, but there are many of them out there that you can use that will help you to educate yourself as to ways that you can use essential oils to support yourself. Frankincense is one of the essential oils that can be taken internally. Years ago, we used to make an essential oil antibiotic formula using frankincense as one of the essential oils. And it was very helpful back in the day before they had products that were to replace it. Lavender. Most people know about lavender. I think it's probably one of the most common essential oils. But what I learned when I took that first essential oil class way back when was that there are so many lavender plants, and not all of them offer you the therapeutic benefit of it being an adaptogen or something that helps with stress reduction, relaxation, calming, etc. Right? It's steam distilled from the flowering top of the plant. Fresh, sweet, floral, herbaceous aroma. It's soothing and refreshing. I don't often put it on the diffuser, but if I'm stressed, I like having just the lavender on the diffuser, and I will put that on the bottom of my feet, maybe on my shoulders, just to have it more on my body. It's the most versatile, I think, of all essential oils. To me, no home can be without it. It helps everything. Okay, and the French scientist, Renee Gatefosse, as I mentioned, used lavender in his lab to help with the burn that he had on his arm when he had that fire in his lab. Okay, you can inhale, you can take it topically, or you can use lavender internally. You can diffuse it before you go to bed, schedule maybe to put it on about an hour before you're going to actually get into bed so that your room is really a calming spa environment. You can also put it in water in a spray bottle and have it as a room deodorant for your bathroom. I always keep my sister supplied with lavender for that purpose. She loves using that in the bathrooms. Okay, let's see. Topically, you can use it for burns. Apply it to the skin immediately neat. It will take that sting out of it. That's why I keep it in the kitchen. Reapply it often to relieve that discomfort that you get from a burn and minimize blisters and scarring. It's good for irritated skin, from insect bites, etc. And believe me, here in Florida, South Florida, we have so many varieties of bugs that bite, you would not believe it. And you can use it as a deodorant, again, perhaps with the liquid crystal. I found it to be irritating, so that's why when I went through perimenopause many years ago, I started using geranium, and I experimented because, you know, put a drop in your hand, rub it together, smear. Well, it worked. It didn't irritate. So I enhance it with a liquid crystal type of product. I put a drop of geranium in my hand, spray several sprays of the liquid crystal, and smear, as we say. And then internally, you can add lavender to food or water. It gives it a very fragrant aroma. Lemon, one of my favorite oils. There are so many uses to this oil. I don't have enough time to share them all. This is cold pressed from the rind, as I mentioned earlier. It's that wonderful citrus smell that we all are familiar with. It's a very powerful antioxidant, and the chemical in it that makes it up is D-limonene. The organic components of essential oils is not my forte of knowledge, but just trust me when I say to you, it is the chemical constituency of each oil that creates its therapeutic benefit, right? You can use lemon to enhance the flavor of foods. And there are many studies that have been done by different scientists about the benefits of, whoops, I went too fast, about lemon, sorry about that. Everything from a tonic to support the nervous and sympathetic nervous system, to support the blood system, particularly our white blood cells, which have a benefit to improve immune function in that part of our body. We can inhale or diffuse, we can apply them topically, or we can take it internally. I love putting a drop of lemon or lime oil in my water. Just one drop is all you need, and that's very alkalinizing to your system. There are many therapeutic benefits that alkalinity that lemon oil promotes that creates a therapeutic benefit in the body. It's known to create a clarity of thought and purpose. So blends that are created to help you focus, to help you think more clearly, will always have some lemon oil in them. Now, remember, if you have any questions, just stop me. I love the smell of it, right? It also cleans the skin. Lemon oil would be good for people that have skin issues like acne, teenagers with acne. It also strengthens our nails, soothes corns or calluses on our feet, and it can be massaged into areas in our thighs that have cellulite for both men and women, all right? And as I said, it's refreshing in water, and you can use it to flavor foods. And you can use it as a veggie and fruit wash. Just put in a ceramic or stainless steel bowl, a couple of drops of lemon oil, dunk your organic or traditional conventional fruits and vegetables in it. Give it a rinse if you want to, if the taste of lemon oil isn't pleasing to you, and then go ahead and use it. It takes away a lot of toxins from our produce. Peppermint. It's one of the most ancient oils for soothing the gastrointestinal system, mostly the upper gastrointestinal system. It's lovely to aid digestion, right? And it helps with concentration and mental sharpness. And studies have also noted, I need to get this to go back down again. How do I do that? Whoop. Hold on. Sorry about that. Can you see this in my screen? I don't know how to get it to go down. Well, hopefully it will disappear on its own. It's the little bar.
We can see up to where it says often diluted before topical application.
Oh, wonderful. Then I can see it and you can't. Excellent. Okay, thank you, Stefan. I appreciate that.
We have a question from Susan.
Okay.
She's asking, can essential oils be applied on the body without a carrier oil like jojoba?
Some can, and wonderful. Jojoba oil is a great carrier oil. A sweet almond oil, jojoba oil. I use, believe it or not, I don't pay for extra. I just use my olive oil because it's organic. Not all of them need carrier oils. If your skin is really sensitive, it's good to do that. Some oils, because they're very hot, like cinnamon, which is in one of the blends we're going to talk about, which is Thieves, or peppermint oil, can be considered to be very irritating to some people. Not everybody needs it, but if your skin is really sensitive, I would recommend that you use a carrier oil. Sometimes 1-to-1 dilution. For children and for babies, the dilution is much greater, especially for babies. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Excellent. Okay. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. Is there another question? I see another thing in the chat. Yes, no?
No, that was the only question.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So I know where time is going very quickly. So peppermint, believe it or not, if you put a drop in a cup of hot water, it's the equivalent to 200 peppermint tea bags. I remember using this to help with that, that headachy feeling you get when you stop taking caffeine. When I drank a little bit of peppermint oil in hot water in the morning, that really helped me to wake up a little bit better. But you want to close your eyes because peppermint is really strong. It helps to reduce fatigue, helps concentration and alertness, helps to soothe tension, especially when you're using it with lavender, one drop of each. So you can use it as an inhalation, topically, or internally. Okay. All right, Citrus Fresh. This is our first essential oil blend. So I'm just going to note it's made up of all of these single essential oils of orange, tangerine, grapefruit, lemon, mandarin, and spearmint. I love this in black coffee. Just one drop. It's delicious because I'm in a program where I'm not doing any dairy, even vegetable dairy, like unsweetened coconut milk. I'm not right now. So this makes my coffee even more palatable. And it stimulates the right brain to amplify creativity, well-being. All citrus oils to me are happy oils. So happy oils do just that. They make us feel happy. So they elevate our frame of mind. It's also great for purifying the air. Just like the single oils of orange or lemon can do that, this is just more enhanced by so many more of them. And the spearmint gives it just a hint of mint to it, which is just delightful. So you can add this to your water. You can diffuse it to reduce anxiety, enhance your well-being, purify your air, add it to your air vents. Apply it topically, but be very cautious whenever you use citrus oils because they increase our photosensitivity. So if you're going to apply essential oil to your skin that has citrus in it, and you're going to be out in the sun, you want to make sure that you cover up, right? Make sure you use your sunscreen. All right. Okay, DiGize. This is a blend that you have to travel with. I mean, if you're going to travel, even if it's to somebody else's house for dinner, you want to have this in your pocket, right? This is a great blend. It's wonderful to restore balance and support balance in your digestive system. And remember, these can also be used for our animals. Right. So if you've got a dog, let's say, that's got digestive issues, DiGize is able to be used for them. There's a whole book that Life Science Publishing has called The Essential Oils Desk Reference for Animals. It's amazing. And they're used for everything from our small animals, like caged pets, like gerbils, to horses, to our large animals. They respond beautifully to them. This is made of tarragon, ginger, peppermint, juniper, fennel, anise, patchouli, and lemongrass. It's got a very strong smell. And it's one of those few essential oil blends and single oils of them all that lingers. Most of them, remember, they're volatile, so they evaporate very quickly, so you don't tend to smell them after a while, which is why frequent application is recommended to maintain a therapeutic benefit, unlike a time-release capsule of a medication, right? So you can apply this one topically or take it internally. I would not diffuse it. And so you can work with reflex points in the bottom of the feet for any of these essential oils, because all the organs in your system are identifiable and located on your feet and on your hands. So you can always work with that when you want to use an essential oil to promote balance in various organ systems. This has a lot of antioxidants and may support the digestive system when taken internally as well. So that's DiGize. Thieves, one of my favorite blends. This is a funny story. First, it has clove, lemon, cinnamon bark, eucalyptus radiata, and rosemary. This is a very hot oil blend. Susan, this is one of the blends that you would never put on the skin other than the bottom of the feet without diluting it. It would definitely create a hot spot on your skin. And this blend was created, it's called Thieves because it was created from a story about 15th century, goodness, they weren't thieves. They
Plague
were
doctors?
spice merchants. Pardon?
Oh, I thought you were talking about plague doctors for a second.
No, they were spice merchants in Europe and they were traveling, selling their wares, and the plague hit, right? And so they were locked in where they were in the city that they were in France. And, you know, after a while, they couldn't sell their spices. They only had what they had on them. And, you know, so they started robbing graves and they got caught. And the king said, if you can tell us why you're not getting the plague, give us your secret, you can save your head, because those were the days of the guillotine, right? And so they told him what they did and off with their head anyway. Now that's the story. If it's true, I have no idea. But what we have is we have an incredible blend of oils that creates amazing anti-infective benefits, right? Enough said about that. One can use it on the diffuser. I want you to know that my last store visit prior to COVID, I still have not been to a store, was to Costco. Now, for those of you not in the US, Costco is a huge wholesale warehouse that you have a membership to go into. It's huge, right? No toilet paper. Remember how when COVID in March, people couldn't find toilet paper? Well, this was right before the lockdown. I was down to one roll of toilet paper. And you couldn't order it. You couldn't order it from Amazon, nothing. I was intuitively guided, which is how I live my life, to go to Costco. And I went, seriously? So I went to Costco and I waited like 4 hours. And as I was there, I was putting drops of Thieves on my tongue. I was using Thieves mouthwash, which has the blend in it, spraying it in my mouth. I was using the waterless hand purifier. And I was so grateful that I had all those tools, right? We're going to have to go through these quickly now because I'm just looking at the time and we're running out of time. All right. So PanAway is another one which is applied only topically. It's wintergreen, helichrysum, clove, and peppermint. It's great for achy, sore muscles that you've overworked with whatever way you've done that, whether it's with exercise or something else. This one's only for topical use. Peace and Calming is the blend that I was sharing about before. This is my go-to for putting in the diffuser about an hour before I go to bed at night. It has tangerine, orange, ylang ylang patchouli, and blue tansy. And oh my goddess, it's a joy. All right, Raven, wonderful to support your respiratory system. There are a few blends that help with that. Ravensar, lemon, wintergreen, peppermint, and eucalyptus radiata are the single oils that make it up. Great for the diffuser, great if you put it on your chest to help open things up. Stress Away, exactly what it says. It's an unusual blend of single oils with lime in it, and copaiba, very grounding in its stress reduction. Valor, my favorite. I love it in a roll-on. I use it for a pick-me-up. It's great for balancing your energy in the spinal system and so many other wonderful things. It also helps to bring courage if you're going to do a speaking engagement or kids have to do a talk in front of their classroom. Any quick questions? I did that really quickly towards the end, didn't I? I'm happy to share this information on this slide with anybody that wants it. I'm happy to do that. So, any questions? Anything in the chat that you want to share, Stefan? We good?
No, nothing else has come through at this point, no.
All right. Who's ready to receive a gift? I'm going to be gifting a 90-minute aromatherapy assessment valued at over $275. So put in the chat a number from 1 to 10. I already pre-picked what it is. So as you read them off to me, Stefan, I will let you know if someone picked it or who was closest to it.
So we have a number 6 from Susan.
Okay.
Anybody else want to be brave and put their number in?
Yeah, I just don't know how to do it.
Okay, just tell
Oh.
me what it is.
7.
Okay. Stefan, do you want to play?
I was actually going to say 7 as well, but I'm going to sit this one out.
Okay. Is anybody else here or no?
Yeah, we've got a few other people. Jake, Nancy, and Tracy. If you'd like to
Okay,
pop
come
your
on.
numbers in.
You want to earn these you want to get a possibility, this 90-minute aromatherapy assessment? Quickly put it in the chat or just unmute yourself and share your number with me, 1 to 10.
We have a number 8 from Jake.
Okay. Not there yet.
So we've got a 6, 7, and 8 so far.
All right, and the 6 was Susan?
Yes, that's right.
Susan, you are the closest. It was 3. So you win the 90-minute aromatherapy assessment. Congratulations. I will reach out to you and we will schedule that by Zoom. Okay. All right. My joy. I'm very grateful to be able to offer that. I love doing these and I love doing them virtually. It's much more fun to do it in person, but we've learned how to adapt in these days. So I want to thank everyone for sharing this time with me. I'm very grateful. If you want to chat with me about essential oils, if you have questions, just go to speakwithilene.com. All right, I'm going to stop sharing and sharing a little love, and then I will stop sharing. All right. Any last minute questions, anybody? I'm so grateful that you've all been here. Hi, Tracy. I didn't know you were here. And I know you need to get going for your next event, or your next class. Stefan, thank you so much for your assistance. If you would, please stop the recording for me.